Have you ever gone through something like the unaliving of a family member, a bad relationship, and somebody just tell you to get over it? Basically, let's just throw those feelings out there. We live in a world that we focus on getting over something instead of getting past it. But this is the problem with getting over something. When you're in the process of trying to get over it, you kind of rushing the process. You don't go through the process of trying to get past it. So you end up throwing it in this closet and suppressing things. But suppression leads to depression or escapism. Now you're dealing with a lot of unhealthy vices. And these vices could be anything. It could literally be relationships, food, drugs, alcohol, anything. Getting over something requires you actually to rush the process. But we need to focus on getting through it. You ever hear somebody say, this person is going through it? That's a beautiful thing. Let them take their time to go through that mess. Suppressing these unfinished businesses with our feelings cause so much other things to the point that we're actually hurting the people who are actually invested in our lives. And I guess that's kind of the ideal of the way that they want the world to be. A bunch of mindless, unemotional robots. That movie, I, Robot. Somebody said one day the robots is going to take over the world. But what if we are those robots? Our whole life is literally in our devices. This is not a video that say hold on to trauma. Because trying to get over something, that's exactly what you're doing. See, having the time to feel it so you can navigate through this mess, you are not holding on to trauma. You're actually allowing yourself to feel so you can get past it. Getting over it without doing the work, you're actually holding on to the trauma. And holding on to the trauma, you're eventually going to traumatize other people, intentionally or unintentionally. Some people don't agree with the statement where hurt people. Because these people are hurt people and they're not out to hurt anybody because they know how hurt feels, right? But the only problem with that is sometimes with that mindset, you're actually hurting them by enabling the bad decision that's causing them to hurt themselves. There is a such thing as being too good to a person. Don't ever be too good to a person to the point that they end up enabling some bad decisions that's going to be their downfall in the future. No different than a parent spoiling their children, giving them the mindset of thinking that they're obligated to everything they want. Like, can't nobody say no to you. I can see two people at a funeral, right? I see somebody's crying their eyes out, then I see the next person holding it together. The comment I would say, the person that's crying their eyes out are taking it badly. The person that's not crying, he's taking it pretty well. But it's actually the opposite. The person that's actually crying their eyes out, they're actually letting it out. They're not suppressing it. They're having a good cry. Have you ever had a good cry that after the cry, you actually feel better? The person that's holding back the tears, they're actually suppressing how they feel. Emotion is like the weather and it flows. But what happens if you hold on to a certain emotion and keep it for a long time? You're not going to think logic because the emotion that you decide to hold on to won't be suitable for the thing you will have to deal with at a different particular time. Emotions are energy in motion. You're not supposed to hold on to it. You're supposed to feel it and let it flow through. No different than picking a flower. The flower be so beautiful sometimes that we just want to pick it out the ground and possess it. But the moment you take the flower out of the ground, it begins to unalive and lose its pigmentation. Why do you have to own it? It's a living thing. Go by, smell the roses, appreciate it, then keep it kicking. Keep it in its roots. This video is for the people that's actually going through it right now. Take as much time as you need. I'm not saying don't stay in that funk for too long, but don't let nobody rush you through a process and tell you what time you need to be healed. But whatever you do, don't suppress it. I'm not saying handle it in an unhealthy way. I'm saying don't suppress it, because you know what does happen? You're going to look for these vices. You're going to jump in a relationship that doesn't serve you. You're going to eventually get hurt by that individual because you actually was looking for them to be your distraction. When they're not good enough to hold that distraction no more, guess what happens? You're going to keep running to the refrigerator to continue to eat. You're going to continue drinking. You're going to keep doing your drug of choice. You know why? Because we're looking for that dopamine rush to help us escape from the trauma which we're running from, but at the same time suppressing it for those who need it.